And now I'm wondering, do I really need to put all the papers that I like, that I chose? Of course, they're not all of the ones that I like, but because here's one thing that happens, especially when you like bright saturated color, as I do. You can get into this kind of rainbow thing. I've got red, orange-ish, yellow, green, blue. That's most of the rainbow. And to my eye, and this is just my personal view, is that kind of runs the risk of being a little too sweet and not having enough edge for my taste. Now, sometimes you want all the colors. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I notice it when I'm getting into a whole spectrum. Okay, now we've got the rainbow. So I think I'm not going to do that. But question remains, do I really need to use all the papers? Of course I don't. This was just a starting point. Hey, pick all the stuff that I like. See what happens. I could make that blue about the same size as the magenta. I could make the blue substantially bigger, but smaller than the green. I could leave the blue as is and make it about the same size, or even a little bit smaller than the green. Let me see. I'm going to try this and then go from there. Because there isn't a one right way to do it. And I'm not planning the next step, but I do know that wherever this step takes the piece, I can deal with it. I can make a decision from here. This line is looking a little straight up to me. The way this line is very straight, this line is pretty straight. So I'm just going to put a little kink in it by adding just a piece of this magazine page that had the green on it. I deliberately cut that in something that isn't just straight across. So at this stage of the collage, I would probably just put it aside and start another one or another 6. But meanwhile, let's just take a look at some compositional issues. I have all these kind of rectangular and square-ish bits. So that's broken up a little bit by these kind of slightly wonky lines. I have some really bright colors. I also have some really neutral colors and then some muted. This green is looking pretty bright. Not quite as bright as that one. Okay, so I've got a little range of saturation. Colors, yes, I have a variety of colors. Value, I've got some white, some really light, and some not quite as light, but pretty light. And I've got a lot of medium value. I think this blue is probably the darkest. And so I've been fooling around with this piece of very dark green, again from this magazine image, to see if a little bit of very dark might make the piece more interesting. It is not always true that in a piece you need a range of values from light to dark. But often, if we're not paying attention to value, we will end up by default putting a lot of mid-range value. And so I'll just check it for that and see, is that an issue or not? At this point, I'm going to leave it and come back to it. And it's not because I'm stuck and I don't know what to do next. I can see plenty of things to do next. I have all these papers. I have this piece that I haven't put in, and look how yummy that looks there. I could put that there. I could add more of this red, make that go out to the edge. I can see a million things to do, but that's exactly where I want to be when I leave the piece, so that I don't come back to it stuck.